Call of Duty might be the only game franchise that lets you blow up an entire elementary school in a foreign country and still has the balls to call you the hero and the other guy the terrorist. Do we check if that school is empty? No. No, he didn't. So, I probably flattened all of Miss Gomez's 3rd grade class like they were a stack of pancakes. Let's be honest, American schools are basically war zones anyways, so maybe they just think this is how school's supposed to work. I don't know. The 2022 Modern Warfare 2 campaign is the best Warcrime simulator since the last Modern Warfare campaign back in 2019. So I thought I'd do the same challenge I did last time I was enlisted to the 141. Can I beat Modern Warfare 2's campaign on the hardest difficulty with only pistols? The rules for this challenge are simple. The only guns I'm allowed to use are pistols. If I use any other type of gun, I will fail. Grenades and kill streaks, like taking control of AC-130, aren't going to count as fails, but I'm going to try to avoid using those as much as possible to stay true to the challenge. I will be playing through the game on the hardest difficulty, realism. Realism and veteran are the same difficulty, but on realism you have no HUD. Here's a quick clip just to show you how quickly you die on realism. Yeah, it's very quick. You barely get a chance to see the enemies. I'll be dying a lot, and using the weakest guns in the game is going to make this a lot harder. Pretty straightforward challenge. If you don't get it, I guess just like rewatch the last 30 seconds of the video, and if you still don't get it after that, then I guess you're just stupid. I don't know. Start a new game, put it on realism, and made this wonderful noise as I sneeze. I sound like a singer in a German death metal band. Or I sound like a male walrus busting his fat load into a female walrusy. Okay, all the nerds out there probably noticed that wasn't a walrus, that's actually an elephant seal. Yeah, I couldn't find any good footage of a walrus fucking another walrus, alright? I'm sorry. If you want to see that, I think you're gonna have to go to Walrus Hub. But I did find this video, and it's just too crazy not to show you guys. I don't really have a segue to it, so I'm just gonna play it and then continue the video. So, yeah, here's this. It's okay to admit you're jealous of him, because listen, I am. Are you kidding me? If I had the ability to do that shit and give myself an underwater BJ every time I hopped in the bath, that'd be fucking amazing. I would have voluntarily taken a bath every time my mom forced me to when I was 12 years old then. Are you kidding me? It would have been great. This first mission isn't really a mission, it's more like a cutscene. I do immediately fail though because I'm a moron and accidentally shot. All I gotta do in this first mission is blow up a general. Is this a country you're at war with? No, it's not. I think they don't really tell you. This is an assassination and I'm pretty sure it's also a war crime, but let's be honest, you don't fucking care. And believe me, the writers of this game didn't care either. All you gotta know is that because of this assassination, Hassan, the new leader of the AQ, wants revenge. So in the second mission, you begin the hunt for Hassan to stop him. Soap, Ghost, and all the other soldiers that don't matter because they don't have a cool nickname start the raid on Hassan's compound. Because I didn't spawn with the pistol, I just hung back and let the NPCs clear the building for me, and when they were done, I started searching the bodies for a pistol when I realized a big problem. So in the last Modern Warfare, when I played on realism, even though I had no HUD, it still showed me the on-screen prompt to switch guns when I was over top of one. But for some reason in this Modern Warfare, that doesn't happen. I can switch my gun, I just won't know what I'm picking up until I equip it. All this does is make looking for a pistol a pain in the ass, because now I have to carefully check each room and each body. So right away, I decided to switch it from realism to veteran for the rest of the run. Enemies do the same amount of damage and behave the same. The only difference is my HUD, so it's not like much changes for the challenge. Unfortunately, this first building didn't have a pistol, but my teammates cleared the outside of the next building while I was looking for one in here. So I ran over, and luckily I found my first pistol, the X13 Auto. Finished clearing the building, found a second pistol, and shot a housewife. Got to the crash helicopter and started fighting away as enemies. I died a lot here. It's very hard to get shots in without being killed instantly, but with lots of cover and 2 pistols, I was able to get past it. A lot of gunfights played out like this. I kinda just stayed in cover majority of the time and would fail a bunch, but eventually I would learn the enemy spawn points or routes, allowing me to get the drop on them and get through that section. As long as I'm able to get a pistol, all normal gunfight sections are possible with brute force and a lot of repetition. Watch as a no-name soldier got a facial, but instead of a hot load of white sauce, it was a 50 caliber bullet. We get pinned down in an open field with a sniper on top of a building at the end of it. I'm supposed to use my sniper here to take him out, but obviously I can't do that. Lined up my shot with the sniper scope and then switched my pistol to try to take him out like that. It didn't work. I'm way too far away to use my pistol, and it also gave away my position, so soon I was the one getting the facial. The only other thing I could think to do was try to run towards him to get close enough to kill him with my pistol. To do that, I gotta find small pieces of cover spread out amongst the open field and hope I can get there without being killed. Found a way to get to these boxes without dying, and after spotting my next piece of cover, I ran out towards it, but right as I got there, this happened.
Got another. Good shot. So, keep...
What? What the fuck just happened? This is the point where I realized they didn't really playtest this game. Even though I didn't kill anybody, just because I got this far, I get dialogue claiming I did, and the next checkpoint triggers. All of a sudden, there are a bunch of snipers shooting out of the building, not just one, so they call in air support. Effectively, I skipped to the next part of the mission without doing what I was supposed to do. Ghost tells the air support not to level the building because Hassan might be in there, so they take it very easy and don't go all out on it. Cleared the building, but made sure I was conserving as much ammo as possible. While searching for Hassan in a warehouse, I get introduced to armored enemies, a new type of enemy that you fight often in this campaign. I hate them because the amount of bullets it takes to kill just one is unreasonable, and half of the time they won't flinch when you shoot them. So often I would start shooting one, dump half a mag into their chest, and even though I started shooting them first, they would still kill me. They wouldn't be that much of a pain in the ass, but some missions, especially later in the campaign, have way too many armored enemies, making it very tough. We find a container with some weird controls in it, so Soap just decides to pull the big lever on it, not knowing what this will do. Like, you're fighting a terrorist cell right now, that could totally just be a giant bomb, and he might have just triggered the countdown. But it's not. It's actually a giant flying bomb. A missile, a very big one, that can go very far. And to make it weirder, it's American. So how the hell did the foreign militia group get very expensive military equipment from the Americans? Was it like real life, where America regularly gives supplies to insurgency groups? Cough, cough, Operation Cyclone, cough, cough. Oh, fuck, why is he calling me? Hello?
Dude.
What?
You're not supposed to say cough cough, you're supposed to act it out.
Okay, well, how the hell am I supposed to know that?
It's common knowledge that that is what that meant. How am I supposed to know? You're too stupid to not know that.
Okay, wow, you're getting very defensive. You know what, just put an ampersand next to it next time so I know it's supposed to be acted out.
Ampersand? You mean asterisks, you fucking idiot.
Okay, whatever, man, I don't care. Can I get back to reading this script, please? God, you're so fucking annoying. Where was I? Oh yeah, or were they stolen?
It's asterisks, not ampersand.
Shut up, bro.
I'd like to talk to you about proper nose blowing. Seriously, yes.
General Shepard wants to find out how many missiles AQ has and where they are, so Laswell tells him she can easily find out where they came from and anyone who's ever touched them if she's given access to them. And then General Shepard says no, he just wants them destroyed. So they know a terrorist group got the American missiles somehow, but Shepard doesn't want anybody investigating how they got them. Which means he obviously gave the missiles to AQ, right? And doesn't want anybody finding out. Like, I know we're supposed to know he's the bad guy already because he's the bad guy in the original MW2 campaign, but this is just giving the game away, man. It hasn't even been 2 missions and he's already acting this shady? Come on. Like I said earlier, the game writers didn't give a shit when they wrote this plot. Captain Price and Gaz tracked down an AQ smuggling ring in Amsterdam, hoping to find any leads on the missiles. First part of the mission is clearing a dock in stealth. With throwing knives and a silenced pistol given to me when I spawned, it was easy. Gave this man a new face tattoo made out of lead and started the second part of the mission. Turns out the Mexican cartel is working with the AQ and they're meeting up at a nearby cafe. Watch this band play my great grandmother's favorite song. And then I killed this girl for having the worst dance moves possible. Yes, even worse than yours, random white guy watching this video. I like how the death screen says watch your fire, like I didn't just deliberately blow that child's head off. Killed a few cartel members with my pistol, captured one of them for interrogation. I said that with air quotes because they're just gonna torture him. And then I finished the mission. We learn that Hassan is being smuggled into the US from Mexico via the southern border, so Laswell contacts the Mexican Special Forces leader Alejandro for help. We find Hassan crossing the wall right as we get there and start chasing him. It's crazy how easily he got over that wall by just using a ladder. Good thing this game is fiction and not real, and America didn't spend over $1 billion since 2017 pushing an idea so ineffective for border control that literally using one wooden ladder renders it useless. Chasing Hassan through the Texas border town is easy. You just have to point your pistol at civilians to calm them down. Because remember, if someone's threatened by you because you're walking around on their property with a gun, just point it at them and yell until they calm down. Works like 20% of the time. Cut to some cops where they do the same thing to me. See? Listen to how calming this is.
I will shoot you if I have to!
After getting attacked by the cartel, we start fighting them and clearing the buildings inside. With a good amount of cover and pistols given to me on spawn, this mission is easy. Found this super creepy room off to the side of the house. I don't know what this is. Seems like something out of a horror game. I guess it's like some sort of ritual took place here. It's never explained in game, so I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be an Easter egg reference to something, but I have no idea what this is. Continue clearing the building, and at this point you've probably noticed that a lot of the missions so far have you clearing buildings, like a weird amount. Every mission somehow has a part where you get in these tight corridors, slowly creeping through a building looking for enemies. I think the game director realized how much everyone liked Clean House from the last Modern Warfare and wanted to capitalize off of that. But it's not the same at all. Clean House was great, but one of the reasons it was so good was because of the whole setting of the mission. These parts are just cheap copies of it, and it feels very repetitive. Opened the last door in the house, got my ass beat by Hassan and his goons. They left me to burn the room as they cut, but before being rescued, you learn that they are transporting something across the Atlantic.
In today's video, we'll be taking a look at 10 Bioshock Easter eggs that appear in other video games.
Now, before the next mission starts, go ahead and take a guess what it is. Hassan, the terrorist, just successfully crossed the border into the US, and you know something's gonna happen involving the Atlantic. Maybe you chase him down to Florida, disguise yourself as a gator, and sneak your way into a secret terrorist base, or something else in some other coastal state. But it's gotta be something crazy happening in the US, because he must have snuck into the US on purpose to do some terrorist shit. Nah, he just goes back to Mexico. They don't even explain it. They just say he was taken back into cartel protection. But like, why? No reason? He was bored, I guess? I mean, you could easily fix this gaping plot hole by saying something like, because we were hot on his trail, he went back to Mexico where the cartel could protect him. Or, he finished doing whatever terrorist stuff he needed to do down the States, so he went back to Mexico where the cartel could protect him better. It doesn't really matter what reason you choose to send him back to Mexico, just give us one good reason. Otherwise, the last mission loses all of its weight. Like, what the fuck was the point of him crossing the border then? For fun? He just really wanted to climb an abnormally large wall. You can't have a story that's trying to be super dramatic and serious in cutscenes, but when you think about it, it makes absolutely no sense. It just comes off as a shitty Netflix drama. It's like watching fucking Riverdale.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in. Have you ever seen me without this stupid hat on? That's weird.
Soap and Ghost team up with Mexican special forces and enter a village where the cartel is protecting Hassan. When the mission starts, I check to see if I have a pistol, and I do not. So until I can find one, I have to rely on my teammates killing everyone for me. Like in the last Modern Warfare, it seems like my teammates can only kill so many people before stopping, meaning I probably have to step in and kill them or else I'll be soft locked here and the game won't continue. But while getting ready to move in for a melee attack, my team moved forward and started killing the next few enemies. Like the first mission with Soap, I don't actually have to kill anybody. I just have to physically move into a position that will trigger the next checkpoint, or trigger my teammates to move up and begin killing again. This isn't a one-time thing. Throughout the game, multiple times during this run, I would move up to trigger my teammates into pushing forward, and then run back into cover while they began killing enemies for me. It happens again in this building. Alejandro won't go into the hallway first. It's supposed to be me. So I pretend to go forward and run back behind the wall. Then he goes through the building killing everyone for me. Even stranger, look what happens next. There's someone behind this door and I'm supposed to kill him, clear that room, and then clear the last room. But I can just run past and check the last room, and when I do, Soap gives the dialogue like he finished clearing the entire building.
Clear.
Even though he didn't. And the enemy behind that door dies automatically. Like he just has a massive heart attack or something, because none of my teammates shot at him, but he still died. I'm telling you, they did not game test these levels. They are so broken if you try to complete them in any other way than the way they expect you to play it. Like if I wasn't doing the challenge and I just wanted to check that room last, that guy would have still died. And then as a player, I would have lost the opportunity to kill him, lessening my experience and breaking the immersion heavily. Which is why games that are well made have checks in place, so if the player chooses to experiment with their playstyle, they aren't punished for it. I mean, listen, for me doing this challenge, it made it way easier, but that's because it's so broken. There are more examples I'll talk about later on in the game, but it's shitty to see a game with this much money and time spent on production to be this goofy. In the last building we clear, I only have to kill 2 people myself, the rest is done for me. I threw a flash in the room, meleeed one, and then karate chopped the shins off another. Even though I've checked every body, I still haven't found a pistol. And the next part is a shootout where we're stuck in this room and we have to kill enemies outside of our window. All I could do is wait and cover. I thought surely this part of the game will soft lock me until I kill at least a few enemies. Nope, you can just hide for 30 seconds and then move on to the next part. We begin running through the mountains, and every once in a while we have to fight waves of the cartel. But at this point, I knew how it was going to play out. I took a few tries to find a route to get to cover without dying first, but after that, I knew I could just wait until my team killed everyone for me. I repeated this all the way down the mountain. Once I got to cover, I knew I could AFK while my team played the game for me, so I went to go do that day's hurdle while I waited. I thought this might be Dark Fantasy by Kanye, I Heart Nazis West, but the song doesn't start with the piano part. Once I skipped to 2 seconds, I knew that shit instantly. Oh, I know what it is. I fucking love this song. It's so goofy. There it is. This song is annoying, but like good annoying. Like I hate it, but I also enjoy listening to it and will sing all the words. The next part wasn't so easy though. Same as before, we got to a section on the hill where the enemies started attacking us. So I ran to a fully covered position and began playing hurdles decades to pass the time.
Here's my key.
After like 5 minutes I went back and I noticed nothing changed. Got killed, and when I respawned I want to try waiting in a different position, hoping maybe that could trigger my teammates to kill everyone else. I waited here for over 15 minutes and still nothing. Respawned and tried to get a good vantage point where I could toss grenades, hoping maybe if I damage or stun a few guys, my teammates will start clearing out the rest, even with my expert aim. What? Nothing seemed to work. But before calling it and shooting the enemies, getting my first fail, I decided to restart the mission and go through it one more time just in case I missed a pistol somewhere. The beginning of the mission played out the same. I even got to see Soap ask Alejandro to dox himself again.
Where's your family, Alejandro?
After jumping out of the window and before heading down the hill, I was searching up top when a random enemy spawned, one that I didn't remember spawning before. I think these few enemies spawn here if you take your time retreating with the squad to force you down the hill, but I really wanted to check to see if any of them had a pistol. After killing the first guy that comes down the hill, a second one appears, and he did kill me here, but as he did, I realized he killed me with the pistol. First time I've seen any enemy use a pistol this level. On the next life, I killed him, but he didn't drop a gun. I don't know why, but there was nothing to pick up. I spent the next 10 lives or so trying to kill all the men that ran down that hill, and each time I killed the second guy, nothing would drop. For some reason, these 4 guys will run down the hill, 2 with a shotgun and 2 with the pistol. The first guy's weapon, a shotgun, can be picked up, but the other 3 men will not drop a weapon. I have no idea why. I really don't get it, but there's nothing I could do. I tried searching some more, but nothing came up. Continued through the mountain like before, but I was extra careful and checked everywhere for guns. Most enemies spawned on ledges that were out of reach anyways, so even if they did drop a pistol, I wouldn't be able to reach it. Got to the place where I soft locked at before, and after using my grenades, I had to shoot 5 enemies, bringing my fail total to 5. Maybe it's possible to get through this with less uses, but I was still pissed off that I couldn't pick up that guy's pistol, and I wanted to get to the next mission as fast as possible. To add insult to injury, the 5th guy I shot and the last guy out of the cartel here dropped the pistol. So I did finally get one, just a little too late. The rest of the mission is a walk in the park, unless you're Rodriguez. Alejandro kills himself, I learn how to swim, and I hide and cover as enemies are obliterated by an AC-130. Got to the car and finished the mission. The people in the AC-130 are a private military company called Shadow Company, led by Philip Graves, and under the command of General Shepard, they are tasked with helping the 141 track down and destroy the missing missiles. The next mission has me take control of the AC-130 and provide cover fire for 141 as they capture Hassan. So as the player, you don't actually get to capture the bad guy you've been chasing for like over 2 hours of gameplay. What you do get to experience is dialogue over a radio as Ghost, Soap, and Alejandro do it for you while you're circling the building in a plane.
Special forces, you're coming with us.
Could've just made me switch control of Soap right as they started breaching the building with Hassan, but instead, you get what is probably the most boring way to catch the main villain of the story. But don't worry, the next mission is action-packed, and by action-packed, I mean you do the same thing you did for 10 minutes in the last mission, but now for 20 minutes instead, and you get to destroy a random Mexican town as you do it. Remember, I'm blowing up all these bridges, schools, and gas stations so we can stop a terrorist, because God forbid if a bunch of foreign nationalists came into your country and started destroying your civilian infrastructure in pursuit of their political goals. That's the absolute worst thing, which is why I gotta blow up this Mexican town. But for real, these 2 missions suck. Just one wouldn't have been that bad, or maybe if they're spread out between missions in the campaign, but doing the same thing for like 30 to 40 minutes in a row gets old really fast. Now with Hassan in our custody, it's time to interrogate him. I did that with air quotes again because I mean torture. So he can give us a location of the missiles and stop them before AQ attacks the US. Now this cutscene is horrible. For some reason, they decide to let him go, even though they literally said he is the commander of a foreign terrorist organization. In the same conversation, they say they can't throw him in jail because that's illegal. What? Why is it illegal? I don't know, fuck you, is what I assume the game writer's response was to anybody that asked that question when they're discussing the plot of the game, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, even if it is illegal, what's going to happen? Is someone going to come in and arrest the United States military? Nothing's gonna happen. They can do whatever the fuck they want. I just finished completely wrecking a rural town of an allied country, and the game started with a war crime by obliterating a general of an army that we apparently aren't at war with, which is, by the way, the reason why we can't hold Hassan, because that would be an act of war, one we don't want to start, even though Hassan is the leader of a terrorist group, not the leader of a foreign country's army. So killing him or arresting him wouldn't be an act of war. Maybe the AQ is supposed to be Iran state military and I just didn't catch the part of the game that explained that, but still, the first mission of the game was us tracking down Hassan and trying to kill him before we knew anything about the missiles. So why the hell are we letting him go now? We didn't care then that it was illegal to kill him, but now we do? Like, I hate this plot so much. It's a fucking joke to spend all this money on these great actors, VFX artists, and animators just to make the most brain-dead scenes imaginable. Seriously, this is exactly like an overfunded and overly dramatic Netflix show. Nothing makes sense, there's no point to anything, but they're putting so much money into making it look polished that they're trying to trick you into thinking it's good. It's not. I fucking hate it.
And today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 worst games of the decade.
We got information from Hassan's phone that led us to a remote island. Price and Gaz start searching it for missiles. You get this opening scene that makes it look like Price and Gaz get shot by someone else while talking about their next targets. But turns out, those were just some random dudes in ghillie suits. And the real Price and Gaz were talking about taking them out from their hiding place while they're in their ghillie suits. So, it's just a cool little bait and switch scene to fuck with the player. Except hang on, who the fuck was in that ghillie suit? This island is full of the cartel and AQ, but they're working together, so who the fuck is just hiding in a ghillie suit? I mean, like, they were even scoping in on someone before we fired, implying they were gonna shoot at someone, but who? Are these guys supposed to be guards that just do security by hanging out all day in a random hill in the middle of an isolated island in hardcore camouflage? They aren't even near anything important, it's just a road and some hills here. Whatever, man, fuck this game. Price asked for help taking out another pair of men in ghillie suits, but if I just wait around for a few seconds, Price kills both of them for me, making this level a lot easier. We sneak our way through the island, and you can really tell here the game is just trying to copy the old Modern Warfare games, so it can trick you into thinking this is a good one, but it's not. Another pair of guards can be taken out by just Price if you ignore him for a few seconds. After traveling to another hill, we get a good vantage point of the first two buildings I have to check out, and here Price and I are supposed to slowly take out all the guards on the outside of the building with our snipers. Now, I'm not going to do that, and with no pistol on me right now, I have to figure out how I'm going to get inside that compound and clear the buildings without alerting or getting killed by these guards. Luckily, I can run down to the buildings without failing the mission. So the game doesn't force you to snipe here, which is great because it definitely means it's possible to figure out a way past this part without shooting. On my first try, I threw a flashbang at some guards and tried running in close for a melee, but I got killed before I could do anything. When I respawned, I learned that every time I died, I would have to run down this massive hill to get back to the buildings. It takes me a full minute and 30 seconds to run down this hill each time. And I died a lot trying to figure out a way into this place.
What the fuck, man?
Spent like 15 minutes trying to get in through the left side of the compound, but it was unsuccessful. Only good thing that came from those attempts was the Wikipedia rabbit hole I went down when Mauled Scroggs told me that Fidel Castro liked milk so much they made a marble statue of a cow they owned that held the world record for most milk produced by one cow in one day from 1989 to 2020. And at one point, Castro said the cow's milk production was proof of communism's superior breeding skills. Another reason why you should watch me stream these challenges live at twitch.tv/crispy645. You never know when we're going to have a random lesson about communist cows. Found an entry point to the compound and stealthed my way to the first building. Don't know how the guards didn't spot the giant moving bush slithering around on the concrete floor, but whatever. When I checked inside, I could see that it's filled with enemies, so I need to figure out a way to kill all these men without a pistol. I tried to open the door, but it's locked. At least I got a new checkpoint when I did this, so if I died, I wouldn't have to run down that huge fucking hill again. Which is great because I died like 2 seconds later. Got onto the roof of the building when Price tells me to throw tear gas down the vent to force all the enemies out of it. Once I did that, I hid behind the vent as Price slowly picked off every enemy in the area. This took a while because Price only killed one enemy about every 10 seconds. And there was a lot of people to shoot, so I figured I might as well practice some guitar while I sat there. Thought Price killed all of them and went inside, but turns out there's a few left. Killed one guy so good the game decided to not add sound effects when I punched him, but I still got put down by the next guy. While waiting for Price to kill everyone again, I asked the chat what song I should play and get told to play SpongeBob, so naturally I bust out my pink ukulele. Scroggs tells me to play the SpongeBob song Pre-Hibernation, which I didn't know, but I thought, fuck it, I'll listen to it, quickly learn it, and play a bit. It's gotta be some cute, easy ukulele song, right?
Jellyfishing.
Turns out it's a fucking Pantera song. I didn't know Dimebag Darrell was canon in the Nickelodeon universe. After letting Price do all the dirty work for me, I ran into the building, killed one guard, and opened up the shipping container to find the strongest pistol in the game, the .50 GS. The next building is just as easy as the first, but because Price took out all the other guards in the compound, at this point I didn't have to slowly stealth over there. Used some tear gas and stayed hidden as Price took care of all the enemies. Didn't find the missiles in here either, so we head to the lighthouse to search for them. This part is the same as the last section. You're supposed to snipe all the guards on the outside before heading in to check the buildings, but because I got a pistol now, I was able to shoot a few guards, prompting the rest of them to go inside the buildings where I could pick them off slowly through the skylights. Or so I thought. What actually happened was me getting picked off through the skylights. This part was annoying as hell and I died a lot. The enemies always had weird angles on me, so they were able to kill me before I saw them. And if I saw them first but it was an armored guard, even with the .50, it would take 5 shots or more to kill them. And no, I couldn't just tear gas this building and let Price do all the work for me. For some reason, he wasn't able to shoot these guys when I tried that. After like 15 tries and over 20 minutes, I was able to clear the building. Below it is a secret tunnel, and after clearing the last room, the mission ends as Laswell gets captured by the AQ from her boat just off the coast of the island.
Today I want to talk about how to be a damsel in distress.
With help from some old friends, we head out to rescue Laswell from an AQ convoy. The beginning of this mission is a fail. Hey, just like the beginning of the Challenger mission. Is that joke too soon? I mean, probably not. Like 90% of the people watching this video weren't even born when that happened. It was in '86. I mean, the communist cow hasn't even set her world record yet. I'm stuck in a helicopter with only an AR on me. No secondary and no grenades. Until I kill some men in these trucks, the mission won't continue. I tried waiting at first, but after 10 minutes, I knew I needed to do something. I shot the truck's tires, hoping maybe that would do something, but nothing worked. Before giving up, I wanted wanted to wait an extra 5 minutes, but still nothing happened, so I pulled the trigger, literally, and failed the challenge again. Had to shoot 5 different people here, so that's another 5 fails. Eventually, the helicopter gets shot and gas flies out of it, hanging on only by a rope, where I pull up my pistol and start attacking enemies. So I had a pistol the whole time apparently, I just can't switch to it when I'm in the helicopter. The next part of the mission sucks. It's easy for the challenge, but it's one of the most boring parts of the campaign. Release myself from the rope, and no, not the way Kenny in a Batman costume does it. After that, I hijack a truck and I'm supposed to drive and fight my way up to the convoy. Unlike old COD games or even games like GTA, you cannot shoot and drive at the same time. You have to lean out of your car to take some shots, but when you do that, you stop controlling the car. This is a horrible game mechanic because you lose all your momentum doing it. Instead of being an action-packed high-speed car chase, it's this.
Affirm, I see it. You might have to ram through.
Crash it. Kill as many as you can.
Compare that to a scene from the original MW2 that came out in 2007, 15 years ago. On top of this being incredibly boring, you can also just skip the enemies here. Even on the hardest difficulty, where enemies are supposed to be the deadliest, I can easily drive past them. It takes forever though, because the max speed of these trucks seems to be 20 miles per hour. I do have to change vehicles every once in a while when the one I was in got too damaged, but that was super easy too, so it wasn't an issue. I meet back up with the price and he tells me to grab the grenade launcher off his back. When I did this, I had my pistol equipped, meaning I switched it for the launcher, so I lost my only way to attack enemies. Tried waiting out this part a few times, but if I didn't kill any enemies within 10 seconds, I would die. So realizing I fucked up, I restarted the mission so I could get to the same point but switch my AR for the launcher instead of the pistol. Thankfully, the drive back up to Price was easy again. Switched to my AR right before I grabbed the launcher, but when I regained control of gas, my pistol was still gone. It automatically takes away your pistol and forces you to have the AR and launcher equipped. So I was stuck here. I tried to see if maybe I attempted this part a few times, I could get good RNG and live long enough to get to the next checkpoint, but that never happened. All that happened was my incredible impression of the doctors discovering that I had the world's largest foreskin when I was born.
I was born, and they're gonna cut it. Like, look, and they went.
And that time my controller turned into a Hitachi magic wand after dying. Finally, I gave up and blew up one car, failing again, bringing my total up to 11. Got to another driving section, just like before, I could skip everyone. There was one truck that had a guy with an RPG that would lock onto me, so I had to figure out how to kill him without any guns, but after a few tries, I realized I could just drive my truck next to their truck, wait for him to shoot, and the explosion would kill him for me. At the end of the mission, there's a shootout, but like most parts in this game, I could hang out and cover and let my teammates do all the work for me. Rescued Laswell, she crushed a man between her legs, the scientifically proven best way to die.
Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
With no leads on the missiles because we decided to let the guy who has them go, Soap and friends, shampoo and conditioner, need to have a meeting with the leader of the cartel, El Sin Nombre, so they can find out the missile locations. They would just capture El Sin Nombre and go from there, but no one outside the top cartel numbers knows the real identity of them. So the plan is to get Soap inside the cartel mansion and exchange information on the 141 and Shadow Company to get a meeting with El Sin Nombre, where we will capture them once we have their identity confirmed. We got inside where I was greeted by Tobias Funke.
I'm afraid I just blew myself.
After answering some questions for Valeria, I watched this guy get his headache cured, and then headed upstairs, where the mission actually starts. I have to stealth my way up to the 3rd floor without being seen so I can find out the identity of El Sin Nombre. This mission is very easy. Went to the garage to steal myself a silenced pistol, got up to the 2nd floor where I killed the evil manager from Alvin and the Chipmunks. No! You're welcome, Alvin. After getting to the top floor, we find out that Valeria is El Sin Nombre. We clear one room of some dudes and capture her before ending the mission. Turns out, Alejandro and Valeria know each other, and I honestly expected the game to be so cheesy that it would turn out they're brother and sisters or some shit. It's not. They just used to be in the same army before she became the leader of the cartel. This scene is still very bad though. Watch how she randomly gets mad and then goes back to being chill.
Terrorism is good for business. It's insurance.
What the fuck does that mean?
Puedes sacar la puta cabeza del culo por un segundo! Puta madre, Alejandro! As long as there is a war on terror, there will be no real.
Yeah, that was an unedited clip. That's how that cutscene plays out. It's fucking weird. Just super goofy all around. She tells us the location of the missiles. They're on an oil rig in the Atlantic, and we head out.
Police, get what you fucking deserve!
Spawned with no pistol again? Fuck. The first room I had to clear only had 2 enemies. Got killed a few times, but was able to melee them both and pick up a pistol one of them dropped. Got through the oil rig with no issues and found the missile at the top, but its controls are missing. They're in a cargo ship nearby, so we head over there and begin fighting our way through it. Instead of just parking our boat and boarding, we crash into the cargo ship because that's faster, I guess. This is actually how I park in real life too. It's very efficient, although I do have to buy a new car each time, and occasionally a casket if I hit a pedestrian. This first section of the fight is pretty cool. The boat sways heavily from the waves, and all the loose cargo slides around the deck. It's a dope fighting section where you have to navigate your way through the loose cargo without being crushed by it, or shot by the enemies. But for the challenge, it made it a lot harder. In a normal fighting section, if I was stuck and kept losing my shootouts, I would eventually get through it by repetition. Sooner or later, I would learn where the enemies are going to be and plan out a route to anticipate their movements so I can get the drop on them. But because of the moving cover in this area, both the enemy AI and my teammates' AI was unpredictable. I'm assuming it's because they would keep rerouting themselves whenever the cargo shifted. There were a few enemies that stayed constant, but most of them were not. Thankfully, the amount of cover available to me because of all the loose cargo made it possible to get past this area after a solid 15 minutes of trying. Neptune helped me take out this one guy. Thanks, Neptune. And we made it to the top of the ship. At this part I got fucked over because I only had 10 bullets left and there's 6 enemies I have to kill. So I chose to melee the first 2 guys each time I spawned to save ammo. That didn't always work out as planned, like this one time where one of their corpses blocks me from running up the stairs and a grenade takes me out. A few more deaths later, and with 1 bullet in my clip, I eviscerated the last enemy's brainstem. Got to the mission controls, did some hacking, hell yeah, and blew up the oil rig with the missile.
Here are 7 signs that someone is trustworthy.
With the missiles destroyed, all that's left to do is find Hassan, but when we get back to the Mexican Special Forces base, Graves and the Shadow Company stop us from entering. Surprise, the private military company working for the evil general is actually bad. They tell us they've taken over the base and have arrested all of Alejandro's men, which doesn't make sense. Like, it would make sense if Alejandro was also part of a private military company, but as far as I can tell, he isn't. He's part of the Mexican military, so it's not his base to take. Graves is stealing the base from the Mexican government, which is definitely an act of war and a very unnecessary one too. Like, for no reason does Graves or Shepard need to do this. They know that doing this will shatter all relations for the 141 and with the Mexican Special Forces, so why? If the general wants to stop them from finding out that he's the one that actually sold the missiles, he can just order them to stop helping him out with his mission and finish it off with just a Shadow Company, ensuring that they wouldn't dig further into it to find the truth. He doesn't need to fight them, and by doing this, he's basically telling them that he's the bad guy, because up until this point, none of the characters suspected Shepard to be the one that sold the missiles. On top of all of that too, there's still 1 missile left. It's not revealed to the player yet, but both Graves and the general know there's a 3rd missile unaccounted for. Wouldn't they need help from the 141 tracking it down before the US is attacked? Seriously man, the game writers removed the part of their brains responsible for comprehension and logic when they wrote this. You can get a illiterate toddler sloshed with a bottle of Jack Daniels to write a story that makes more sense. Anyways, somehow in this shootout, the only people that get killed are the no-name soldiers. Of course. Ghost and Soap escape while Alejandro's arrested by Graves. Thankfully, the next mission is cool and somewhat makes up for the abortion of a plot the game has at this point. Alone, unequipped, and injured, Soap has to stealth his way to Ghost's position while only using whatever he can loot and improvise as weapons. You head through the Mexican town looting shops for generic items like duct tape and wax while dodging the Shadow Company soldiers looking for you. And once you get enough of the required loot, you can craft improvised weapons like a trip mine, smoke bomb, or Molotov cocktail. This is one of my favorite missions of the game. The difficulty you're playing on doesn't really change how hard this mission is because you're supposed to play it in stealth, so it's easy for the challenge. After killing my first enemy, I grabbed the pistol and continued through the town. I made sure to take my time looting so I had as much firepower as possible. Found a safe at one point and unlocked it to find a silence .50 GS inside, making this way easier. Started fighting some enemies, died a few times, and then killed a few of them before hiding in a nearby garage where I killed the rest of the guards when they came looking for me. Swam past some guards underwater, and when I open this door, a scripted event happens where I get spotted by some enemies. Now all I have to do is reach Ghost in the church at the other end of the street. I don't actually have to fight all these guys. So instead of spending a long time trying to figure out how to kill them all, I tossed some smoke grenades in front of me and ran to the church to trigger the next checkpoint. With Ghost now fighting by my side, all I had to do was hang back, killing a few guys with my pistol while Ghost did majority of the legwork. Got in a truck and cut to one of Alejandro's safe houses. We meet Rodolfo there and he tells us about the prison Alejandro's being held at, so we head there to bust him out like a man busts on December 1st. Spawned with the pistol again, somehow made the shot from this far away, got inside the prison, and started this weird security cam section. This is basically just a level from Watchdogs. I direct and control Ghost using cameras as he plants bombs around the prison. Nothing challenging here, and even when I commanded Ghost to shoot, he uses his pistol so no fails added. Breaching the prison and getting up to Alejandro is easier than finding an anti-gay politician who's secretly gayer than Freddie Mercury. At the top floor I had to fight a few guys in riot shields. This part was very annoying. Without flashing them, I'm not able to get the shots in, so it took multiple tries to find a strat that let me kill them without being murked myself. Nothing special really happens as I fight my way through the prison. With 2 pistols and a full team of allies behind me, getting through this was super easy. Right before we leave the prison, Price comes in to save the day and takes down a helicopter for us. We ask him how he knew what was going on. He says Laswell got concerned once Shepard went dark, but that doesn't explain how he knew we were at this exact location. Does Price have a tracking beacon on Soap or some shit? Somehow didn't blow my head off as I rappelled down this wall and finished the mission when Price explained to us the truth that Laswell uncovered. Well, first I had to watch this cutscene where the sound effects cut out halfway through it.
Shepard burned us. He sent Graves in the shadows to kill us and round up lost vaqueros.
But after that, I find out what happened. Graves and the Shadow Company were secretly and illegally selling 3 missiles to American allies fighting the Russians in the Middle East. Operation Cyclone. See, I did that time because you use asterisks like I asked. The Russians somehow knew about the shipment and had a planned ambush. Had to fight some people during this flashback, but I get a pistol, so it's easy. Eventually, every Shadow Company soldier is killed, and the Russians take all 3 missiles. Shepard and Graves bury this so don't get in trouble for trying to illegally sell the missiles. This is what I meant earlier about it being weird that Graves and Shepard went evil before they found the last missile. They've known there were 3 missiles missing all along. And when Price confronts Shepard about everything, Shepard orders him to find the last missile. He could have done that without trying to burn the 141, but Shepard seems to have as many IQ points as he does hair on his fucking head.
I'm gonna tell you 5 reasons that I kind of hate having longer hair.
Second last mission of the game, I'm almost done, thank God. Before we find Hassan, we need to question Valeria so she can tell us where the cartel took him and the missile. But to do that, we need to recapture Alejandro's base and kill Graves. There's this whole part at the beginning where everyone puts on a ghost mask and Ghost reveals his face to the 141 for the first time. This is supposed to be a badass moment, but honestly, there's no build-up for this. For some reason, they marketed this whole game around Ghost, but he doesn't do much in the campaign. You never play as him except for 2 small parts, and there's really only 1 mission alone where you get to learn about him as a character. Alejandro's more present in the story and missions than he is, so this epic moment when his face is revealed feels very unearned. This mission is split into 2 teams. Gaz's team is tasked with finding Valeria, and Soap's team with killing Graves. Spawn with a pistol again, thank God. In this first part, you have to throw smoke grenades to reveal laser trip mines, but I was bored and wanted to try to get through it without using any smoke. I did, I just ended up killing myself a bunch here for no reason. Switch to Soap and he too spawns with a pistol. He also gets some armor plates that give me a lot more health, and Price is on standby with the helicopter, so I can just order him to take out the enemies for me. Which is what I did. I still have to fight enemies inside the buildings, but with Price gunning majority of the enemies down for me, getting to the base's HQ isn't that hard. Even had time to go look up bulletproof backpacks online.
I think they look like shit too. Wait, actually, I want to check. Because, like, if they are actually stylish, more defensible. If they're ugly as shit, then that's just like horrible because it's forcing the kids to wear like really shitty, you know, outfits. Like I want to see like a Gucci bulletproof backpack.
Yeah, real shit. I want to see if they did. I mean, listen, if you're a 15-year-old kid in the States, odds are you probably want to go to school with one of these bad boys just in case Timmy decides to show up at school with an AR-15 because Rebecca didn't want to go to the homecoming dance with him and now he needs to blow off his steam somehow. So at the very least, if you're gonna have to lug around a backpack that's half of your body weight, it should be dripped the fuck out. Throw Supreme logo on one of these bad boys and every hype beast in your school will voluntarily wear these, protecting themselves from their very own Columbine. Turns out they do have custom drip for your bulletproof backpack. These options include camo, Patriot of course, and school theme. It's just totally normal to buy a school themed bulletproof plate that you can insert into your bulletproof backpack. Unless you're poor and your parents can't cough up the $200 to pay for it. Guess you're gonna die, kid. I mean, you could try to Matrix dodge the neo-Nazis' hail of fire, I guess, but odds are that's not gonna work out. Nah, I'm just joking, guys. Come on. This is all, I'm just goofing around. These things don't fucking work at all.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you were wearing this and were shot with this,
you're dead. After getting to the HQ, it switches me back to Gaz before continuing to Soap. With Alejandro, I easily stealth my way to Valeria, minus that one time where I alerted all the guards and got killed. Only had to fight one of the enemies, and after that, I was done with Gaz's part of the mission. Back as Soap, I chased Graves through the HQ. A few armored enemies here, but with 2 pistols, it was no problem. Once we get to the back of the compound, Price's helicopter is shot down, and Rodolfo and I head over this wall to fight Graves. He got in a tank, so now it's time for the only boss fight of the run. I died a lot here, like a lot. I know I've said that about a lot of different parts in this run, but seriously, I died so much here, I began memorizing the dialogue that repeat each time I spawn.
Rodolfo, don't think uno, catro, uno are your friends.
If he shot once at me with the tank cannon, I was dead. The fight isn't even that hard. I just have to throw C4 at the tank 4 different times. The reason I kept dying was because of stupid things like trying to hide from a tank behind plywood. Once I figured out a route that kept the tank away from me long enough to get the C4 throws in without being instant killed by one of its shots, I defeated Graves and finished the mission. Fill up Graves, more like you're in a grave now.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize.
We question Valeria, and she tells us the missile and Hassan are in
Chicago.
Chicago! Sorry. I'm sorry, I did that. I seriously, I apologize. Please don't dislike the video. The last mission of the game has us searching a skyscraper in Chi-Town for Hassan so we can stop him before he detonates the missile. The first part of it has me descending the side of the building to rescue the hostages, and I don't have a pistol. Although I tried, this is not like Days Gone, and I can't save these hostages without shooting. Even though Ghost is hanging out with a sniper across the street, and Price is defending with me, I'm the only one that can kill these people. And if I don't kill all of them, I can't continue the game. Don't know why Ghost is just hanging out across the street with a sniper if he's not gonna fucking do anything, but whatever. underwater. There are 3 floors I have to clear. Floor 1 has 2 people, floor 2 has 4 people, and floor 3 has 5. So in this one section alone, I doubled my fail total. 22 fails now. Inside the building, I still can't find a pistol, so I spent a long time trying to figure out how I can get Price to kill everyone for me. It took me over an hour just to get through 3 rooms, and I'll explain why. 1. This trash can looked at me funny, so I spent 55 minutes punching it. 2. The game started being very buggy. Honestly, it wasn't buggy on any other level, but from here on, the game would sometimes think I was prone or crouching while I was still standing, which gave me the ability to dolphin dive onto nothing. This sucked though because it happened randomly, and sometimes it would happen when I need to duck behind cover, and when it wouldn't let me do that, I would just die. 3. Price couldn't fully clear this one room, and because of the orientation of 2 enemies, it was almost impossible to get through it without shooting. There are 2 enemies facing each other on opposite sides of a hallway I need to cross. If I go to melee 1, the other will kill me. Even if I get the first guy down, I would still be killed by the second enemy before I got to cover. I only have flash grenades on me, so using an explosive to take them out was impossible. And without a pistol, I needed to melee them. If I used a flash on one enemy as I rushed the other enemy, I would be able to kill the one I rushed, but the stunned one wouldn't stay stunned long enough for me to get back in cover. I don't know if it's because I'm playing on the hardest difficulty or not, but for whatever reason, stunned enemies only stayed stunned for like at most 3 seconds, and it only takes 1 shot to kill me. To make it worse, there's actually a 3rd guy in the room. Normally he wouldn't move from where he was, so he wasn't a problem, but sometimes he gets stunned by my flash grenade, and when he did, that would prompt him to start flanking me where I would die shortly after. After like 45 minutes of trying to get through this one room, I finally got it. It was pure luck. For whatever reason, the second guy didn't kill me when I meleeed the first guy, and after flashing him, I was able to run in for the melee. Clearing the remaining rooms of the server area was easy, especially because after this, I got access to frag grenades that I could use to kill some of the men, including some with riot shields. Descended a few more floors and started fighting again. At first I thought it was fucked, but I quickly found an enemy with a pistol I could easily kill each time I respawned. With a pistol, I knew all I had to do was play through this fight a few times until I figured out enemy spawns. Had a boxing match with an armored enemy, lost the boxing match, almost ran out of ammo, but I was able to get past this room. Once we get to the floor below us, Hassan launches the missile, so the clock is ticking. We need to find the control case and abort that missile faster than a 16-year-old aborts their unborn child. Found an ammo supply, so I was able to fill up with more lead than Flint, Michigan's water supply, making the fight to Hassan easy. Chased him down an elevator, grabbed the missile controls, and lost my weapon. Hid from the enemies by running to the room right beside me. I guess they're too stupid to check the only room I could have possibly hidden. Forgot which direction was left.
Press left and clear for override. We're almost done.
Shite.
Hit left and clear at the same time, Soap.
Come the fuck on. Override on.
Copy. Get safe. This next part.
And detonate the missile. This last part feels like an homage to Die Hard, where I gotta figure out a way to kill the bad guys using only office supplies to make improvised weapon. It's the same as the Alone mission. Crafted some bombs, tried to box an armored guard, and failed again. So in my next life, I looted for a knife while the guard was stunned, killed him, and then did the same to the last guy. Although I did like this last part, it feels goofy because there's so little enemies and because the area is so small. I feel like they made a full level like Alone, but in the skyscraper, it could have been great, but just this tiny section with only 2 enemies makes it feel like it was added in as an afterthought. Hassan grabs Soap and begins to toss him off the building, and I get to play as Ghost for the second and final time. I gotta shoot Hassan before he drops Soap. I tried waiting, but there's nothing I could do here other than shoot. So for the 23rd time, I failed the game. Laswell shows the boys the test prints for her OnlyFans, and I finished Modern Warfare 2 on the hardest difficulty, only using pistols. Wait, hang on, I lied. It's less than 23. Okay, I want to double check the cartel mission where I failed and shot 5 times on the hill, the first time I failed. I feel like I shot more than I need to there, and I just want to get through it because I was annoyed. So I replayed it. This time, I played it on recruit so I could figure out the exact number of people I need to kill before triggering the checkpoint. I found out it's basically all of them, which doesn't change much, but I did realize the enemies grouped up way more than I originally thought they did. When playing on Veteran, I couldn't really peek out of cover to see the enemies without dying, but on recruit, I could. So now I know where the enemies are going to group up. I switched it back to Veteran, headed behind this rock, and then I spent the next 30 minutes trying to kill as many enemies as I could with only 4 grenades. A total of 9 enemies spawned here, so as long as I killed more than 4 enemies with my nades, I would reduce my fail total. Took a lot of tries, but eventually I got it down to just 1 enemy left after using all 4 Semtex grenades. With full flashbangs, I knew I didn't need to shoot him, I could just stun him and go in for the melee. But watch what happens when I did. So either something exploded the exact same time my flashbang went off, or the game glitched out and thought my flashbang was a normal grenade for some reason. Regardless, something sent that man flying, and with that, I was able to beat this section without firing a shot, reducing my fail total from 23 fails to only 18. Wait, there's more. There's one more thing. Sorry, I realized this while editing. It's why it's added in at the end. My bad, guys. But here's what happened. When I was editing the convoy section, I realized I might be able to actually get my pistol back when I went to go grab the grenade launcher. If you remember when I originally played through that part, if I had my pistol equipped, or if I didn't, when I went to go pick up the grenade launcher, I would lose my pistol and be left with just the grenade launcher and an AR. But while editing, I realized I might be able to keep my pistol by first switching it with a gun that is stored on the truck bed. I just didn't think of it before, probably because I'm stupid. So I went to go try it, and sure enough, I was able to pick up my pistol again. Now all I have to do is kill one enemy that's using an LMG in a truck. If I don't kill him within 10 seconds of him spawning, I will die. So when I first tried this out, I actually wasn't recording the footage for it, and I spent a long time trying to kill him. It's very hard to kill him for a few reasons. He's an armored enemy, so he has a lot of health. He's behind a lot of cover, so there's not a lot of him that I can actually hit, and because we're both moving, I would sometimes have to lead my shots in order to hit him. If I shot him here, the bullets wouldn't hit, but if I aimed a little bit ahead, they would. It took me a while to get used to it, and then I eventually did it. So I decided, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna try again recording now, and I got it on my first try. So it looks like this part's like easy and I got it done in one try. It was not. It took me a long time. I'm just happy I was able to do this. I can now remove one more fail from my total. With these two reductions, my total went from 23 fails to only 17. No, it's not possible to beat Modern Warfare 2 with only pistols on the hardest difficulty. I failed 17 times. Honestly, if you're thinking about getting this game just for the campaign, don't. It's not worth the $100. Just wait a year or two till it's on sale, or go play the original MW2 campaign, because trust me, that is way better than this. Oh, there's also a hidden cutscene if you watch the credits. It shows Makarov boys assembling a 3D printed pistol on the plane. I'm assuming so they can hijack it, so I guess we'll be getting the long-awaited sequel to 9/11 in MW3, which I already know is going to be a shit campaign, but yeah, I'll definitely do another pistol-only run on it. Total playtime was 15 hours, 15 minutes, and 22 seconds. Shout out to Mald Scroggs for hanging out in chat while I film this live. If you want to come chill as I stream these too, just follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/crispy645. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, it really helps me out, and I'll see you guys in a month or so with a Horizon Zero Dawn video.
Ward will be great. Behold! Whoopsie. Now behold.